Okay. Stop everything. Rewind the tape. We need to talk about the narrative. The story we've been sold for over a decade on Little People, Big World. The perfect fairy tale. Tori and Zach. The high school sweetheart, the teacher who married her dwarfism-affected student, the picture-perfect family with Jackson, Lila, and Josiah. The normal ones, amidst the Roloff farm chaos. It was the bedrock of the show. The love story we rooted for. But what if it wasn't what it seemed? What if, hidden in plain sight, there were cracks so deep they shattered the entire foundation? And what if the most shocking twist isn't just the divorce, but what and who came after? Because the internet is on fire. The headlines are brutal. Cheater Tori? Tori's revealed new husband. The comment sections are war zones. Team Zach versus Team Tori. And in the middle of it all, a family trying to navigate a private heartbreak in the most public way imaginable. So let's pull up a chair, grab a coffee, and dive deep. We're not here for gossip, we're here for context. We're here to connect the dots from the first sweet season to the stunning Instagram announcement, to the new man in the picture. This is a story about reality TV, about marriage under a microscope, about diverging paths, and about the terrifying, brave act of starting over. Let's set the scene. Zach Roloff, the beloved, soft-spoken son of Matt and Amy. Born with achondroplasia, the same form of dwarfism as his father. He grew up on camera, his insecurities, his dreams, and his search for love all documented. Enter Tori Rietimu, the vibrant, outgoing soccer player and college student. They meet when Tori's friend is working on a school project about dwarfism and interviews Zach. The connection is instant, electric. For the audience, it was revolutionary. Here was a little person not as a subject of curiosity, but as the romantic lead. Tori, a average height person, saw Zach, truly saw him not for his stature, but for his heart. Their courtship was classic, sweet reality TV gold. The awkward dates, the family integrations, the supportive girlfriend cheering Zach on through his surgeries. When they married in 2015, it felt like a victory not just for them, but for everyone watching. Here was proof that love conquers all. They built their life. Tori became a kindergarten teacher. They had 3 beautiful children, 2 of whom inherited achondroplasia. They were the stable center. The anti-drama. While Matt and Amy divorced, while Zach's twin brother Jeremy and his wife Audrey dove into their cult-like, as some critics said, brand of perfect marriage, Zach and Tori seemed relatable. Real. But fissures, when you look back, were visible. The first major public strain? The farm deal. This wasn't just a family argument, it was a seismic event that revealed core differences in values and vision. For years, the narrative was that Zach would take over Roloff Farms. It was his birthright, his passion. He worked the land, understood its rhythms. But the deal with his father, Matt, fell apart in a spectacular, painful way. Matt, the businessman, wanted a strict financial transaction. Zach, the son, wanted a family legacy passed down. The negotiations were brutal, played out on TV. Zach felt betrayed, belittled. And Tori? She was furious. She saw the emotional toll on her husband. She became his fiercest defender, but also, perhaps, a mirror for his deepest disappointments. This is crucial. The farm wasn't just land, it was Zach's identity. Losing it meant losing a part of himself. Meanwhile, Tori's identity was evolving. From teacher to full-time mom to influencer. Her world was the kids, the home, creating a stable bubble away from the Roloff chaos. Zach's world was shrinking, defined by a loss. Tori's was expanding, defined by motherhood and a growing online presence. They began to physically and emotionally pull away from the epicenter of the family drama, moving to battleground, Washington. A fresh start, but also a retreat. Then, the health struggles. Zach's ongoing medical issues related to his dwarfism, the surgeries, the pain, the recovery. The immense pressure on Tori as a caregiver, a mother, and the emotional anchor. The constant, unrelenting presence of cameras, even in pain. The pressure to be on, to perform their happiness. Imagine arguing about bills, about parenting, about loneliness, and then having to smile for a confessional interview. The weight of that is unimaginable. The official announcement in October 2023 was a shockwave. After 25 years of life together, and 8 years of marriage, we have made the difficult decision to separate. They cited a long period of pain, work, and professional help, but ultimately, we have exhausted all our resources to make this work. But the internet doesn't do peaceful separations. Almost immediately, the whispers began. The most poisonous of them all, Tori cheated. Where did this come from? Let's trace the rumor mill. 1. The timeline. Fans are forensic experts. They noticed a seeming distance in social media posts months before the announcement. Fewer couple photos, more solo Tori content. In the world of reality TV fandom, absence of proof is proof of a problem. 2. The new man sightings. Shortly after the separation was announced, Tori was spotted at her son's soccer game. Sitting next to her was a man. A tall, average height, athletic-looking man. The paparazzi photos flew. This, to the rumor engine, was proof. They labeled him Tori's new boyfriend immediately. The narrative wrote itself. Tori left Zach for another man. She must have been seeing him before the split. Hence, cheater Tori. 3. The narrative bias. There's an ugly trope in our society. When a seemingly strong or vibrant woman leaves a quieter, perhaps more vulnerable man, she must have done something wrong. She must have betrayed him. Zach, with his relatable insecurities and physical challenges, easily garnered a wave of protective sympathy. Tori, the outgoing, sometimes blunt former teacher, was framed as the villain who abandoned her struggling husband. But here's what's critically important. There has been zero evidence of infidelity. Not a shred. Zach has never implied it. Tori has never addressed it. Why would she dignify it? The man at the soccer game was, by all accounts from those actually in the know, simply a friend. He was later identified in a completely innocent context. The cheating narrative is a classic, misogynistic internet fabrication, built on Photoshop, speculation, and the desperate need to assign blame in a complex situation. The real story of the crumble is far more mundane, and far more tragic. It's the story of two people who grew into different versions of themselves. Zach, grappling with the loss of his dream, the farm, and chronic health issues, may have retreated. Tori, shouldering the immense load of childcare, household management, and being the family's primary emotional and financial engine, through her influencer career, may have burned out. The romance, eroded by stress, responsibility, and unmet needs, likely faded. They became co-parents and co-stars, not partners. That's not scandalous, it's heartbreakingly human. Now, to the hook in our title, Tori revealed new husband. This is where headlines distort reality. Tori did not reveal a husband. She has begun, cautiously, to share glimpses of a new relationship. Months after the separation, she posted a series of Instagram stories. There was a man's hand holding a coffee cup. There were hints of a presence, hiking boots by the door, a shadow in a family photo. The army went to work. They connected the dots to the man from the soccer game, whose social media, private, but stumbled upon, showed him to be a divorced father himself, a fitness professional, seemingly stable and low-key. This wasn't a grand reveal. It was a tentative step toward normalcy. But in the LPBW universe, it was an earthquake. For many, it felt too soon. But time in the public eye is distorted. Their marriage may have been emotionally over for years before the legal announcement. Tori has the right to move on. And what of Zach? His journey has been quieter. He's focused on the kids, on his own healing. He's been open about the difficulty of the split, about co-parenting, about finding his new normal. There appears to be no public animosity between them regarding new partners. They have both, in statements, asked for privacy and kindness. So, who is this new husband? He's not a husband. He's a boyfriend. And from the slivers we can see, he represents a different world for Tori. He's from outside the reality TV circus. He's not linked to a famous farm or a family saga. He represents a life that is, perhaps, simpler, more private. A life where Tori isn't Zach Roloff's wife or Amy's daughter-in-law, but just Tori. For a woman who entered this world as a bright-eyed college student and spent her entire adult life defined by the Roloff name, that freedom must be terrifying and exhilarating. Here's the ultimate twist, the hook we promised. The villain in this story isn't Tori. It isn't Zach. It's not a secret lover or a greedy parent. The narrative of the perfect reality TV couple. The narrative that their love was a fairy tale meant to inspire us, and therefore had to last forever. The narrative that we, the audience, owned a piece of their happiness and are entitled to an explanation when it fails. The narrative that demands a villain when a love story ends. Little people, big world is a business. Their love was a product. When the product changes, the consumers, the fans, revolt. The cheater-Tori narrative is a simplistic, salacious way to explain the failure of the product. It's easier to digest than the complex, slow-motion tragedy of two good people falling out of love under immense, unique pressures. The real story is about the incredible difficulty of maintaining a marriage in the most unnatural of circumstances. It's about the pressure on a woman to be a perfect wife, mother, caregiver, and TV personality. It's about the pressure on a man to live up to a legacy that was suddenly ripped away, while navigating a world not built for his body. It's about growing apart, not because someone is evil, but because life is relentless and change is inevitable. Their new chapters are the true test. Can Zach build an identity beyond the son who didn't get the farm and Tori's ex-husband? Can Tori build a life of privacy and new love while co-parenting with her famous ex and raising children in the public eye? And can they do it with the grace and mutual respect they've so far shown? So, the next time you see a headline screaming cheater Tori or Tori's new mystery man revealed, remember the complexity. Remember the years of footage, the unspoken stresses, the humanity behind the hashtag. This isn't a scandal. It's a divorce. One of the most painful, common human experiences, just happening on an uncommon stage. The fairy tale is over. But maybe, just maybe, something more real is beginning for both of them. A story not written by producers, but by themselves. And that, despite the pain, might be the most hopeful twist of all. What do you think? Is the public narrative unfair? Can reality TV couples ever have a normal breakup? Let's have a respectful discussion down in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the secrets behind your favorite reality shows, smash that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.